How you doing, folks? Vidal SuperNinja here, and we are back. On today's episode, we're continuing our top 30 of my favorite video games of all time. And for number 26, we're going back to the year 1999, where everybody was indeed kung fu fighting. Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker just kicked ass with the first Rush Hour movie. Jet Li just made his American debut with Lethal Weapon 4. The Power Rangers were seeing their series finale in Power Rangers in Space. The Matrix was about to bust open movie theaters and change action cinema for years to come. I was all in on the martial arts craze, and one of these games caught my attention because of that. So without further ado, let's get right to it. During the reign of the PlayStation 1 era, the RPG genre thrived in what many would consider its golden age. There was an abundance of great turn-based and tactical RPGs, and one of them that stood out to me the most was Legend of Legaia. Legend of Legaia at first glance may seem like a wholesome and lighthearted game. The character designs are cute and childish and kind of remind me of Legos. But don't let this appearance fool you. Underneath this veil is a badass martial arts epic. Legend of Legaia is its own unique fantasy world, where humans exist peacefully and symbiotically with creatures known as the Saru. However, one day a mysterious and deadly mist appeared, causing the Saru to become rampant and violent. They began to aggressively attack and possess anyone they came into contact with, essentially zombifying them. This saw the collapse of their civilization. This forces the surviving humans into hiding. Many of the remaining towns and cities are forced underground. Others are fortified with massive walls and barriers, often under security watch as the Saru chip away at humanity's last defenses. It is a dark time in this world. You play as Vaughn, a young, ordinary martial artist who gains extraordinary power from a rare kind of Saru, a Ra Saru named Meta. Unlike the other Saru, this Ra Saru is peaceful and seems far more intelligent, and also seems uncorrupted by the mist that turns so many of its Saru brethren into monsters. On this fateful night, the Saru lead an aggressive attack on Vaughn's home village. The protective walls and defense barriers are decimated, and the village's defense force is crippled. The situation gets desperate as the brutal attack continues. Just as all hope seems lost, it becomes evident that neither the Saru nor the mist can come near the Genesis tree, located directly in the center of town. Vaughn bravely battles his way through enemy hordes in an attempt to gather all the villagers by the tree in the hopes of giving them protection. It becomes clear that this is their last shot. Together with what seems like a miracle power, the Genesis tree explodes with light. Completely destroying the Saru, and pushes the mist safely away for miles outside of the village. Vaughn and Meta's destiny become clear to them. With his newfound power and sense of responsibility, Vaughn leaves his village to travel the world. The adventure begins to revive the Genesis trees and stop the mist. Legend of Legaia's standout feature is without a doubt its battle system. It really takes the tried and true formula of turn-based battle mechanics and makes it its own. There is an emphasis on martial arts and hand-to-hand combat. Granted, there are plenty of weapons in the game, but the emphasis is on some really good old-fashioned punches and kicks. These are some of the coolest moves you'd see straight out of a kung fu flick. There are 3 characters to choose from in Gala, Noah, and Vaughn, but each come with their own huge, unique list of moves. And these moves differ quite a bit in terms of fighting styles. Noah being the fastest of the 3 and usually emphasizing moves that have high combo counts. She attacks with the elements of the winds. Gala is your powerhouse. He isn't very fast, but he hits hard, has a tendency to break defense, and strikes with electric attacks. And Vaughn is balanced, of course, right in the middle of these 2, striking with fire elemental attacks. Like any great martial arts tale, Legend of Legaia has a strong focus on self-improvement, training, grinding, learning, and facing great challenges to constantly take things to even higher levels. The sense of progression through trial and error is one of the most rewarding I've ever experienced in a JRPG. The characters start off with so little, but through hardships and perseverance, they gain and master so much. By the end of the game, you would have learned a ton of special techniques, unique to each character, gained by teachings from other masters and martial artists, hidden scrolls and secret texts scattered throughout the massive world, and of course by random chance. Experimenting and trying out all the different button combinations that come to mind is the way to go. Up, up, down, down. Up, down, left, right. Down, up, left, right. Try them all. Nothing beats the hype of seeing that new art screen pop up when you land a proper combination. Of course, today with the internet and the vast knowledge of the world at your fingertips, I think most gamers today will just look this stuff up online and just gain a bit of that instant gratification. Not exactly the way I chose to play the game, but to each their own. It's not 1999 anymore. Another cool feature of this game's combat system was the ability to capture Saru and then later summon them to your command in battles. These were like voided out Pokemon, and each summon had different abilities and characteristics, and were all beautifully animated. It's nice to see your Saru wreak havoc on your enemies. Or heal you up when you're in trouble. You'll encounter a ton of unique enemy types as you run into the many random battles. This game is not easy. These enemies, and especially the bosses, will completely fuck you up. They are relentless. and you will need to grind and train and understand the mechanics of the game before you think you're going to get anywhere in it. Luckily, you'll find plenty of unique items, armor, and weapons along the way. Getting to a new town often means restocking and finding a new inventory, but these items are not cheap, and even if you're grinding, it always kind of feels like you're a little too broke to buy all the best stuff, so you kind of got to be a little selective about what you pick and choose. Each of these items matter, and their stat changes are considerable. Also, I always thought it was a really nice touch that you could actually physically see the character's weapons and wardrobes changing throughout the game, a feature I wish more RPGs had. From concept to completion, it's clear there's a great deal of love poured into this game. Every aspect of it reflects tender love and care.
In the making of this game, we studied films to capture good tempo and flow, and good camera work. I poured my heart and soul into development. Each polygonal character is a reflection of our love for this game and our work.
Producer Takahiro Kaneko designed Legend of Legaia with a bigger, real-world challenge in mind.
Whether it be a book or a comic, when growing up we all have places to escape to where we can forget about our daily troubles. And through the trials and tribulations of those fantasy worlds, we find solutions and hope for our daily lives.
Despite my emphasis on the game's combat system, Legend of Legaia's story, characters, and world building are all deserving of recognition as well. Vaughn may be a silent protagonist, but he's full of personality and life. You can totally appreciate his character and motivations without him saying a single word. Gala is an honorable and rather stiff personality, a bit rough around the edge socially at first, as his life has been dedicated to martial arts and his Shaolin-style temple where he trains. I'll avoid going into spoiler territory here, but he definitely has a strong and important role in this story. Noah is the most charming of the trio, a soul human raised by a wolf through a Rasaru named Terra. She spent most of her years training in a cave with only her wolf companion to keep her company. She is young and naive, raised completely disconnected from the world. She's a true fish out of water character. Seeing this world through her virgin eyes is both a hilarious treat and a sad reality check, as she learns the beauties and horrors of humanity. Together, the trio form a bond that has a sense of family, and you truly do root for them to defeat this evil that has overcome their world. I adore this cast, and I wish we were getting proper sequels to this fantastic game. Unfortunately, I don't think it is possible that this will ever come to be, as the lead writer of Legend of Legaia, Hidenori Shibayo, passed away on April 2nd, 2018. And though there is a sequel, Legaia 2 Dual Saga for the PlayStation 2, Shibayo was removed from the development team before the game went into full production, following some very critical comments he made during interviews discussing the behind-the-scenes workings of game production. He was having many creative differences with Sony and other members of the production team. Though Legaia wasn't ever intended to be a series, we'll never really know what true vision Shibayo had for this world going forward, and that, I think, is most unfortunate. So while I do think Legaia 2 is a great game in its own right, it takes on an entirely new story and direction and is only connected to Legaia by name. Still, I am extremely grateful for the team's first outing, as this game holds many memories for me and my friends, and only reinforced my interest in martial arts and JRPGs. This is one of the best JRPGs I've ever played, and it is secure on this list as one of my favorite video games of all time. So what did you guys think? Are you a fan of Legend of Legaia the way I am, or was this perhaps the first time you've ever even heard of the game? And if you're a fan of JRPGs and you've never played it before, I insist you give it a shot. And once you do, let me know what you think. I'm dying to know what people think about this game. It's not a game I've had many conversations with people about over the years. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please like, share, subscribe, anything to help a ninja out. And make sure you stay tuned after the credits for a continued preview of my top 30 games of all time. In the meantime, stay classy, stay tuned, and of course, be excellent to each other. This is Vidal SuperNinja, signing out.
Commander, you've rained on my glorious parade. For this, I'm sending everything I've got at you. But I won't let you have the satisfaction of catching me. I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!